If you've ever looked around the table halfway through your D&D fight and you realize that everyone's eyes are glazing over, we're going to talk about today combat that drags. And that was a weird sentence. The long slog of dice rolling, the endless cycle of I hit it again or I do the same thing, that slow descent into collective boredom. Today we're fixing that. We're going to fix that today, right now. These are rules that I swear by to make combat faster, to make it sharper, and most importantly, more fun. So the first thing is that you need to understand the problem isn't the dice, it's the repetition. So let's start with the hard truth. Most boring combats aren't boring because they're long, they're boring because nothing is changing. If every round feels exactly like the last round, your brain is going to check out after 10 turns. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter if it's a goblin, it doesn't matter if it's a dragon, you could put as much time into finding the art, it doesn't matter. If they're doing the same move over and over again, it's going to become noise. And the cure for that is variety, not hit points. So I would rather run 5 really fun enemies that have personalities and quirks over one giant sack of hit points. Give me the goblin that's taunting the wizard, the one who's hiding behind the cart and the leader is shouting, hit the shiny one, while ducking behind a shield. Each enemy needs to become its own little micro puzzle in order to be fun. That means making them behave differently. Once they see that this is not a normal enemy, your players are going to pay attention because, and I'm not talking about tactical variety. You can do a lot of different things. When your table cares about the scene, your rounds are going to fly by because people are going to be at the edge of their seat waiting for their turn. So start thinking about variety and personality and not so much about how many hit points or how big it is. So write that down on a sticky note above your DM screen. Variety is more important than hit points. So here's what I do. I'll mix enemy types. So for example, I'll have a goblin boss and 5 minions. And that's way more interesting than one big dude and also fixes a lot of your action economy. So each enemy adds a beat. So a spell here, a dagger there, a surrender over here, right? Make them act differently from each other. And then give each of them a purpose. So one enemy might be trying to escape with the relic. Another one is desperately defending it with its friend. And a third one is there for the paycheck. And as soon as something goes bad, they're going to run the other way. And then on top of that, change the environment, right? You don't need to mess with the numbers, just change the environment. So the room flooding with water is kind of an old trope. Collapsing scaffolding, a wildfire. Those are all little elements that move the story forward and you don't even need to roll any dice for it. It's just something that is happening in the background while the fight's going on. Because remember, tension isn't coming from them surviving round after round, it's coming from their ability to adapt to the fight that is becoming alive in front of them, right? Oh no! Oh no! Someone's casting sleep on me! Ah, dang, they got me. Now here I am, for 1 minute, according to 5e. Oh look, I'm dreaming about Describe again. I mean, I get it, how could I not? It's got this massive curated library of descriptions. I mean, like NPCs, magic items, monsters, and locations. All professionally written and just waiting to drop into a session. Also, it has music, maps, ambient sound effects, and even a place to add your own notes, so everything you need is kind of in just one place. And you can search by theme or mood, and it even connects to your VTT, so you're not scrambling when your players are throwing you a curveball in the middle of the session. It's literally my dream prep space. Like, literally. Oh crap, I'm waking up. Use code FANTASYFORGE at checkout. Did anyone else just dream of a sponsor? The next thing is to just let them win. Here's a rule that I think kind of sounds like heresy. If it's boring combat, let them win. Seriously, wrap it up, move on. Sometimes the table just doesn't have the energy for another 20 minutes of dice math. If everyone's tired and, you know, like, I get it. If you're trying to recover from, like, the last fight was super epic and this one is just filler, then just, you know, the moment's passed. Just don't drag it out. It doesn't need to be fair. Fair is overrated. Fun is the goal here, right? So if they're winning, and you can see that they're winning and there's just not enough energy in this fight, drop the monster's HP the mid-fight, narrate how the tide turns, give your players that dopamine hit of the victory and move on. They will thank you for respecting their time and you'll thank yourself for keeping the sessions pacing tight. And then you can pivot really quickly, turn the aftermath into part of the story. So the final ogre, he slumps against the wall, you see that his belt falls from his belt falls this scrap of parchment, and you see that same sigil that you saw on the assassin's blade in his belt. And the fight ends, but their narrative keeps the story rolling because now they're going to want to investigate. Now their brain is active again at that point because now they're like, wait, that was a clue. What's going on? What could that mean? They're going to start talking to each other, and now everything is cool. Now, if they want just a chill session, then you can skip the combat entirely, let them shop, let them banter with each other, build their base, whatever they want. Retail therapy works in fantasy too. So now the next thing, the secret rule, or at least a rule that has helped me in the past, especially for some of the most epic battles, right? I'm talking like end game level battles. Roll on their turns. I mean, this one seriously changed my table forever. Roll while your players are playing. Instead of waiting for 6 goblins to each roll separately, roll the goblins' attacks immediately after the player's action resolves. It keeps the spotlight on the player, stops dead air between turns, and I know it sounds like a really small thing, but like it will literally cut minutes out of combat. It keeps you engaged, it makes the rhythm of the battle feel more cinematic because you're just narrating and you're not waiting to do math. And so if you think about it, really what you're doing is just trading like bookkeeping for just quick fire rhythm. Right? The player swings, the goblins retaliate, boom, next player. It feels like a duel, like back and forth, right? You're not trying to do any accounting while players are sitting there waiting for you. And you can take it further. You can roll damage with the attack, one and done. You can pre-roll monster initiatives in clumps. You can pre-roll entire combats and just have the numbers on a sheet. And when it comes down to that creature's turn, cross off the number, cross off the damage, move on to the next. I have done that. I do think that part of that takes away a little bit of the fun of the dice rolling for the DM, and also dice rolling can be a really good use of like tension building because the players never know why you're rolling. So if you're rolling when you haven't been rolling in a while, they're gonna start questioning things. What did I do? Did I activate something? Did I make somebody angry? But if you're in a time crunch and you're really trying to keep things moving, you could just roll all of the numbers before the session even starts, have them on a list and cross them off as you go. You're still being fair because you're not choosing the numbers, you're just going down the list. So I guess all of that to say that you don't necessarily need the fast combat to be about skipping any rules, it's just trimming out the friction between all of the rules. It might work for you, it might not. Now the next thing is to embrace the flow over fidelity. Look, we all love crunchy mechanics. There's a hidden cost though when it comes to all of those mechanics. It really breaks the flow, like rolling for each individual creature. If a rule lookup takes more than 30 seconds, make a call and move on. The story is the point, not the page number, not the mechanic, it's not any of that. Momentum is the magic of D&D. If your table feels like it's constantly fighting that momentum, that's something that you want to fix, because if your fight is moving, even a long battle isn't going to feel slow, because if you're going from one round to the next quickly, you're doing a good job. Your players are going to be engaged. They're going to want, like, if you're not sitting around waiting for your turn constantly, you're going to always be thinking. But if you know that, like, hey, my next turn's not going to come up for another 10 minutes, your players are probably going to pull out their phones. They're going to start surfing the internet. They're going to do a bunch of other things instead of thinking about their turn, so that when it gets back to them, they're going to go, oh, hang on, let me check. And they're going to start to now think about their turn. When what you want them doing is actively surveying the field, looking at the battle, thinking strategically while other players are going. Otherwise, you're really losing momentum. So if your pacing is dipping, just cut to the resolution with flair. Now, the next thing, or the sixth thing, I guess, is to bring it all together. So let's recap the Lore Keeper's rules for fixing combat, right? So variety over HP, right? Change the situation before you change the stats. That's the big one. 2, let them win. If it's not fun, cut it short, move on. Right? Number 3, roll on the player's turns or before the session even starts. Keep that energy cycling so you don't have any dead air. And number 4, flow over fidelity. So your story comes first, the rule book comes second. Combat is not a spreadsheet. And for some people, they think like that. Some people are really good with numbers. I'm not. To me, combat is theater. It's supposed to feel like a movie scene, not a math quiz. So if you can feel the pulse of the fight at your table, your players will too, I promise you. So the next time that you sense the energy fading, don't try to force them into this combat, just fix it. Give the scene movement, give it meaning, or give it the mercy that it needs and just put it out of its misery. So that's what I do with my combats to help them keep going quickly. Let me know in the comments down below what you do. As always, forge on, my friends. And remember, the pointy end goes in the other person. Stick them with the pointy end.
I beseech you, I'll do anything, so long as you pull it out.